You're listening to the Empowered Divorce Podcast, where you practice being the chooser in your life again, one day at a time. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my amazing, beautiful listeners. Welcome back to the Empowered Divorce Podcast. I am so glad that you are here today. We are right in the middle of holidays, which I know can bring up a mix of emotions, especially when you are navigating a life-saving divorce, separation, co-parenting, parallel parenting, or just the messy beginnings of now what? This week, I am airing a portion of the December's live Q&A, the lesson portion of that Q&A. And if you have not registered for that free Q&A, the first Thursday of every month, go to amiewoolsey.com or the show notes, click on the Q&A, register. It's free. You'll get access to the worksheet. Now, you won't get access to December's recording, but the worksheets from December and all of the past are in there that you will have access to, and just minus the lesson that goes along with it. But it's something. You will, however, get a reminder for the next live Q&A so that you don't miss it. I also want to quickly remind everybody that January 8th through 10th is the next Dating from Within workshop. It is going to be so powerful. This workshop is where I help you shift out of fear, out of confusion, around dating again, addressing some of the statements that we hear where we have to be healed before we date again. I think there's a little nuance to that. Building confidence, gaining clarity, connecting with yourself so you don't abandon who you are in the moment that someone shows interest. Tips and tricks, all the things, Q&A with Scott. It is 6 hours with me, live, on Zoom, for less than a regular one-on-one session, truly. If dating feels scary, overwhelming, confusing, or you don't even want to touch it, and you really just want a place to start, this is a place to start. To have the space to gently rebuild trust with yourself before you even think about trusting someone else again. Every time I teach this, women tell me it's exactly what they needed. They feel hope again, a lot of information. I have some people come back and take it a second time because they'll take it once when they had no interest in dating. Then they practice some of the things that we talk about, then they are interested in dating and they'll take it again for a refresher course. So save your spot. I will see you there. It will be so much fun. All right, let's jump into today's episode. What you are about to hear, like I said, is a portion of the recent Q&A where we talked about holiday triggers, grief that surprises you after divorce, your nervous system memory, how to stay grounded when holidays don't look like the picture you once held in your heart. This is a very tender, emotional, real conversation that I think so many of you will relate to, especially during this season. Here we go. Hello, everyone. More people will probably jump in, but I'm just going to keep going because I know we only have an hour. So welcome. Glad you're here. We got holiday. We're in the smack dab in the middle of these holidays, y'all. Energy is running high. My sessions, clients, we're doing a lot of processing right now around holidays, and rightly so. It can be very charged. It can be very hard going through a life-saving divorce. Wherever you are at in the journey, in the process, I feel like there were pieces even a couple years after my divorce that still smacked me upside the head that I was like, wait, what? I thought I was freaking over this by now, or I thought that this wouldn't hit me so hard still. And I was telling a client today who's in the very, very beginning stages, I said, look, not everybody just tells you this because they're afraid they're going to scare you. And I don't know. I think it just should be told. I said, look, it's going to hit you upside the head for years sometimes. These moments of grief, these moments of a shared nervous system dream that you had with somebody else. When we create a dream, when we coexist and co-regulate with somebody and we have a future dream, we future plan, your nervous system gets involved in that. It connects to that. And so when that's taken away, when it's gone, it is absolutely grief. It's absolutely going to feel like a loss, right? And so when some of those dreams or things that you co-planned in your nervous system happen, even if it's 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it's gonna hit that. It's gonna hit that chord. It's gonna hit that grief. And I was sharing with my client today, I said, I remember when my oldest son went to high school, he's a ball player, and he had his first high school game. And I remember he's been playing since he was 3 and I'm very involved. And so I was up in the booth doing the scoreboard and I see him run on the field. And I had that moment where this was something that my husband and I talked about with our son. Like, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like if he chooses to play high school ball? And then here I am. And then it was like, oh, here I am alone watching him play. Then when he went to college ball, that first moment watching him run on the college field, oh my gosh, here's that moment again. And so I think there's a level of radical acceptance that comes with this kind of experience that you didn't choose. And it sucks. It's hard. I think what happens is that we get to this especially when we're thinking about divorce, we're in the middle stages of divorce, beginning stages, there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of grief. And we sometimes put a period at the end of some of that, like that might happen. It's going to really suck. Boom. And we stick a period at the end of it. It did suck. There was grief with my son playing, and I don't have his dad to share that moment with that we thought we would share. And big capital A and D, I'm there. I'm witnessing it. I'm experiencing it. It's not that experience isn't gone. The lady I was working with had the dream of retiring and getting a house on the beach. And yeah, it's a shared dream right now in her nervous system. If she's choosing divorce, she can still go get the house on the beach and make that her own experience. It's still available. Sometimes our brain plays tricks on us and makes it not available because it was shared. If you're in this space right now, I just want to highlight that. Open your mind up to and take that period off of it and play out the rest of the experience that you still get to have and choose. That grief is here. It often is very much alive and present with the holidays coming around. So with that being said, the holidays, the message that I want to share, and there is a worksheet in your portal that will support what I'm sharing here as well for those of you that want to do a little bit deeper dive around this for your own purposes. But when you're going through the messy middle of all of this life-saving divorce, the schedules might be different right now through the holiday. Maybe you're sharing time. Maybe the house is quiet when it usually isn't, or you feel like it shouldn't be. The traditions that you've had might feel very unfamiliar now because the situation, the circumstance is different in the relationship. Again, that nervous system where shared stuff happened and we regulated to it in a shared way. Even if you did like I did most of the traditions, right? I was doing most of the work. It was still under this guise of shared experience. And when it's not shared anymore, the nervous system is going to hiccup. It's going to be like, wait, what? Wait, what? And your body is going to feel that very deeply. What you thought it would all look like is now different, and your body is going to feel that very deeply. So I really want to validate the holiday triggers that are coming up. You might notice more sadness, more irritability, more tears, more numbness, the urge to run away. There's nothing wrong with you. Holidays are going to hold a lot of that emotional weight. They're going to carry the memories, the expectations, the family patterns, smells, rituals. I think there's a lot of unspoken pressure to be happy as well that comes with the holidays. We want to be happy. We want our kids to be happy. We want all of this to match what we're seeing on social media. And so, again, with the grief and the co-parenting all mixed into that, can feel very overwhelming. And I just want to remind you, you're not failing if you don't feel this level of happy that you think you should be feeling right now. You're responding like a human who's been through a lot right now. Your nervous system is going to struggle this time of year. Your body doesn't know it's the holidays. It knows that the routines are shifting. It knows that predictability is lower. We don't. It's trying to predict, and it can't anymore. It feels a little hijacked and jaded by that. The emotional expectations are higher. Your kids might not be with you. You might feel more, I know I did. I felt more of an expectation to make everything happier for my kids during that first holiday after divorce. So the pressure that I was putting on myself and honestly, subconsciously on them for us to be like it was, right? My whole mentality was like, all right, I'm going to make sure that they don't miss a beat, that they don't feel like anything is different. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that everything was the same and different, to make sure that we're happy. That was a lot of pressure that I was putting on them as well, inadvertently. Your old hurts might get stirred up, old memories, traditions, all of that's going to come to the surface. So grief is going to be at the surface, y'all, very highly right now. So make space for that in a way that feels healthy and grounding to you. Notice that your brain might be longing for the should have. It should have been. Shouldn't be this way. It should have been this way, right? That's going to come up a lot perhaps right now. Your window of tolerance is going to be a little bit less right now. Upping your self-care and your own self-awareness is critical right now. It's critical. Again, not because you're weak. This is a sign of how you loved and how much you've lost. If any of you have been following me for a time, you know that I love the movie It's a Wonderful Life. I usually do some podcast episode around it every year because I learned so much. There's so much principle and teaching and symbolism in that movie for me. So, of course, I have to weave some of that in, but sometimes I have these George Bailey moments or I see them show up. And so there's that moment when George hits his breaking point. He's overwhelmed. He's exhausted. He's carrying too much. He's believing also that he's failing everyone. I even feel a little emotion as I say that because it just really, I think that especially as women during this time of year, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Even taking this divorce experience out of it, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure that everybody is happy here. But George had this moment too, where he just hit his breaking point. Many of you in betrayal trauma experience and life-saving divorce are going to have maybe a same moment during the holidays where you think, I should be happier. This isn't how it was supposed to be. My kids deserve better. I'm tired of holding everything and holding everything together. Maybe you feel invisible right now. Maybe you're holding everything together. Maybe nobody knows what's going on in your life right now. Maybe you're in that space where not everybody knows quite what's going on and you're really holding it together, but you're about to hit that breaking point. Because I know what that's like. It's really hard. And maybe this is your George Bailey moment. It's not a sign you're falling apart. It is a sign that your body is overwhelmed and it's protecting you the only way that it knows how. It's a trauma response, not a character flaw. One of the most beautiful messages in that movie for me is when Clarence shows George and he shows him that your absence would leave a hole that you can't see. Your presence is mattered more than you realize. Your life is woven into other people's stories in ways that you're not aware of. You all right here, right now, seeing each other's faces, knowing that you're not alone. You're not the only one who's going through this, who's experiencing this. You're making connections right now and touching each other's lives and an energy field right now. You're not alone. For many of you, spending the holiday without your kids or watching traditions shift in ways that you weren't ready for or wanted, or feeling like you're not giving them the Christmas that you hoped for, I get it. It makes sense. Even in those off years, even in the quiet house, your presence still matters. Your love still shapes your children. Your presence still anchors them. Your nervous system, even if we're away, still anchors, still energetically connects. Your story matters to their story. You don't always get to see the impact in the moment. And that's the whole part of that movie, is that he realized how much of an impact he has. And I think that's what we want as humans, to impact people in a really good way. When something impacts you in a really harmful way, kind of makes you question all of it, right? So I just want to remind you, your impact still matters. The behind the scenes things that we do. I remember with I did this with my kids, but my granddaughter is 3 and my daughter, I sent her the elf on the shelf. I was like, just in case you want to do it, here it's. And so she's been sending me these little elf on the shelf things that she's doing for my granddaughter and really starting to implement that behind the scene, right? So she's like, how did you do this? How did you take so much time to do the behind the scene magic really of Christmas, right? I remember one year I moved, don't even ask me why I thought this was connected, but I moved our Christmas tree from the one room to the other room, made it look like Santa did it. That was an absolute nightmare. I don't know why. Don't do that one. It was so dumb. I got about halfway in and I was like questioning everything, but then I'm committed, right? And I have to just go for it. But anyways, don't do that one. It did make that impact on them. They're like, oh my gosh, Santa moved the tree. I was so committed to the behind the scenes impact around Christmas. But this happens every day. Every day, you all are doing something to make an impact. And I want you to start noticing that and giving yourself credit. That's not prideful. That's claiming your story. That's noticing the way that you show up in your life and in your world because it matters, because you matter. So, some grounding tools. Some of them you've heard me say ad nauseum, but they work when you do them with the intention of noticing when the overwhelm is rising up and using some of these grounding tools to help with that dysregulated nervous system. It's the body grounding. Put both your feet on the floor. Just feel them on the floor. Feel the earth under you. Get a sense of under. Feel under. Even if you're standing maybe upstairs, notice that there's another level to your house under you. And then there's the ground, and then there's the earth, and then there's the center of the earth. Really go and get a sense of grounding under you. Maybe lean back into something steady. Sometimes I'll just, whatever wall is closest to me, I'll just lean against the wall because now you're feeling something behind you, support you behind you. If you're feeling an anger type of overwhelm, push against the wall. Put your hands against the wall and try to run that wall into the next room. Push, get that sense of something in front of you. Send a signal to your left and right jaw to relax. I would almost guarantee the majority of you hold a lot of bracing and armoring in your jaw. So loosen it up. You might have a little breath come in, like I just did. Placing your hand on your heart or on your ribs. Sometimes we do a lot of bracing in our core. I find that a lot when I'm doing my somatic sessions with clients. There's a lot of bracing there. Then tapping into your sensories, your smell, taste, touch, sight. 3 things you can see, 2 things you can touch, 1 thing you can hear. Don't forget your emotions. Name them. This is grief. We might be really frustrated that we can't find the ornament that we want to get the kid and we're mad about the ornament. What's underneath that? It might be grief. It might be grief around a tradition. Might be grief about a loss of a tradition. This is fear. This is overwhelm. My body is responding to something really important. Don't dismiss the emotions that are coming up. Don't write it off as it shouldn't be. And don't blame. I used to blame my ex for every emotion. It's negative. Oh, damn it. If he wasn't this and he hadn't that, then I wouldn't feel. It felt good in the moment, right? Time and a season. Maybe you're in a season of letting that go and just own the freaking emotion. It's okay. Let it be and then let it move. So get those connections to grounding. And then I think I don't remember what episode I did. Oh, I think it was my newsletter. I talked about micro miracles, but do micro traditions. If the traditions hold a lot of pain right now that you have, Maybe start with just little tiny micro things that you can implement. Sometimes you want to go big or go home, but just start with something small. Maybe just light a candle. Just lighting a candle every day is something new, something different. Maybe do a journal prompt a day is something new and something different. A walk, a playlist, a new playlist. Finding little tiny grounding rituals disguised as holiday traditions can help shift things here when it feels a little heavy. And then the last thing I'll just mention really quickly, I know I'm going a little longer today, but just rewrite your story and step into agency again. That movie, It's a Wonderful Life, it just comes full circle where George realizes he can't change Mr. Potter. He can't change him, can't change the past. He couldn't change those unexpected losses and things that happened, but he could return to himself. He could choose the meaning of everything that was happening. He could reclaim his life from peace of awareness and acceptance. And this is true for you too. So you didn't choose the betrayal. You didn't choose the reasons why maybe you had to even choose divorce. Maybe you didn't choose divorce. You can reclaim a life from a place of awareness and acceptance. You can choose different in the chaos of co-parenting, in the quiet house, and in new traditions. You still get to choose your story, moment by moment, breath by breath, season by season. We're in a season of winter, talked about that too, where embrace the season and what it's showing you and what it's needing you to embrace right now. If you are interested, that worksheet in there in that portal will help support some of this too. Thank you for joining me. Happy holidays, everyone. See you next time.